Arab.
Hello and welcome. I'm Asima Kataka and you're watching World Report on News X World. Let's take a look at the top headlines of this hour. The International Crimes Tribunal has commenced its hearing on allegations of crimes against humanity tied to former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina during the 2024 student-led protests. The former Prime Minister is facing the death penalty should she found guilty. At least 42 Indian Umrah pilgrims, including several from Hyderabad, are feared dead after their bus collided with a diesel tanker near Mufrihat while en route from Mecca to Medina in Saudi Arabia. Amid rising tensions between Japan and China, Japanese government spokesperson Minoru Kihara has now said that China's warning against travel to Japan was incompatible with what was agreed between the two countries amid an escalated diplomatic spat over Taiwan. US President Donald Trump has hinted that he could have discussions with Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, who has been in the crosshairs of a US military buildup in the Caribbean. Ecuador has voted against hosting foreign military bases in the country in a massive countrywide referendum. The latest count saw over 90% of the ballots accounted for, with two-thirds of the population rejecting the proposal. More than 70 schools in Australia have been closed for cleaning after asbestos was discovered in widely used children's play sand. Products recalls have been issued for several colorful play sand products after laboratory testing detected traces of tremolite and chrysotite asbestos. US President Donald Trump has now backed the release of the infamous Epstein files, saying that it is a Democrat ploy to distract from their failures with the government shutdown. German Finance Minister and Vice Chancellor Lars Klingbeil are headed to China seeking dialogue on trade tensions as Berlin pushes its de-risking strategy amid Chinese curbs on rare earths and semiconductors that have shaken German industry. Now we start with Asia. Bangladesh is high on alert as security forces intensify their presence as former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trial begins in Dhaka. The International Crimes Tribunal will deliver its judgment on allegations of crimes against humanity tied to the 2024 student-led protests, charges Hasina has previously denied. Alongside Hasina, former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and former Police Chief Chowdhury Abdullah Al-Mamun were also charged, though Al-Mamun later turned prosecution witness. Bangladesh is on high alert as security forces intensify their presence as former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trial begins in Dhaka. The International Crimes Tribunal will deliver its judgment on allegations of crimes against humanity tied to the 2024 student-led protests, charges Hasina has previously denied. Alongside Hasina, former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and former Police Chief Chowdhury Abdullah Al-Mamun were also charged, though Al-Mamun later turned to a prosecution witness. Bangladesh is on high alert as security forces intensify their presence as former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trial begins in Dhaka. Now we are showing you live visuals coming in from this trial that's ongoing in Bangladesh's capital city Dhaka, as the International Crimes Tribunal will be delivered here and its judgment on allegations of crime against humanity.
was showing them a video of their attack on protesters and said, "Guli kori ekta, more ekta, ahuto hoy ekta, ektai jay, bakita jay." It transfers from the testimony of PW27, Dr. Mashuk Ahmed, that Chhatralik activists stopped ambulance carrying protesting wounded near Shahidullah Hall of Dhaka University. They also
Now we're seeing the visuals coming in from Bangladesh's high court, as Bangladesh is on high alert as security forces intensify their presence as former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trial begins in Dhaka. The International Crimes Tribunal will be delivering its judgment on allegations of crimes against humanity tied to the 2024 student-led protests, charges Hasina has previously denied. Alongside Hasina, former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and former Police Chief Chowdhury Abdullah Al-Mamun were also charged, though Al-Mamun later turned to a prosecution witness. Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor and Dr. and MD Habib Milad. He's an ex-MP and president of Global Center for Democratic Governance, joins us live from Canada. Thank you very much, Dr. Habib Milad, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Doctor, what more can you tell us about the ongoing charges that are put on former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and can you tell us a little bit about the former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Kamal, and the former Police Chief Chowdhury Abdullah Al-Mamun as well?
Thank you. Thank you. As you know that the defeated force from the 1971 Liberation War in Bangladesh, they are trying to establish the country over the last 54 years, 24. Now, as they are in power from the back, they are trying to take the revenge from 1971 Liberation War. So that's the moral story in here. But the thing happened against Sheikh Hasina or Asaduzzaman Kamal and also the IGP. They frame a charge with 5 charges, and most of them, I was listening to them and I was following them for a long time, and I saw that most of them, well, the way they portrayed it is not like that really. As you see, they said that, this verdict is coming very close to when the national election is going on. In the meantime, Bangladesh Awami League, its activities is banned, and is also suspended its registration. As you know, on the 12th of May 2025, the investigation authority gave the report to the court, and the formal charge was presented on the 1st of June. And 10th July, within 40 days, they filed the charges. And then they started taking the interviews on 3rd of August, and now 12th of October, they have started the debate, and now they're giving the verdict. So it's a huge, as you know, that it's so many people are involved in that, and so many charges are there. How they find the conclusion so early? As you know, that Bangladesh's law and order situation is so poor. Even now, when I'm talking, the birthplace of Bangladesh's independence, the Road 32, Bongo Medium, there are 2 bulldozers are there. They have demolished on 5th of February. Now they are trying to do it again. There is no law and order situation at the moment at the Bangladesh. The judicial system is controlled by interim government and also Jamatis. The justice, those who are involved with Jamaat politics, the prosecutor, he's involved with the Jamaat politics. And the solicitors, lawyers, those who are running on the both sides, they're Jamaatis. So how can you get a fair judgment? And the chief of the three judges, he was not even in the trial process. He was writing the verdict even before the trial was completed. So this is the scenario at the moment in Bangladesh. As you know, the judicial system, the law and order situation, and the mob, everything is the normal part of normal life at the moment. So we cannot say, we don't accept, we deny this verdict, whatever they're going to give in the next 5 minutes. We don't want that. And we want, if somebody has committed any crime, it should be in international standard. But they give the name of the International Crimes Tribunal. But there is no standard at all. As you see the video, all of us seen it. The prosecutor and the solicitor of Sheikh Hasina was talking, they're laughing. They're talking, why did you say this thing? And they'll say, okay, I have to say, at least in front of the media. So this is the scenario at the moment. And they use the International Human Rights Commission's report, which was biased and didn't maintain their standard. They mentioned that in the past. So I do not know what's going on at the moment, but I think they're taking revenge at the moment and what they're doing.
And how might this trial of Sheikh Hasina affect, how is this affecting political stability and public trust further? As you mentioned, the condition is very dire over in Bangladesh, and is there trust in Bangladesh judicial and governmental institutions? As you also mentioned, Jamaatist and interim government is not able to properly manage the current situation in Bangladesh now.
They are not properly managing the current situation from the beginning, I should say from 5th of August. Initially 5th of August to 8th of August evening, the chief of army staff took the control of the country. On those 3-4 days, about 400 people died. And after that, until 15th of August, and until today, 637 people killed in mob. 213 Awami League leaders and activists has been killed in different ways. And 64 extrajudicial kill has happened. And numerous, I cannot count it, numerous mob violence, extortion. I should say there is an arrest of more than 400,000 people. Most of them are Awami League and state organizations supporters. But although having doing this to control Awami League and the force close to pro-liberation or pro-liberation forces, the Jatiya Party, the 14-party alliance, they are not even cannot do their political activity due to the pressure from the government. They cannot do even the simple meeting or anything. People attack them. Probably you are looking all those things. So what is going on at the moment is total anarchy in Bangladesh. And through that, they want, especially Jamaatis and the interim, Dr. Yunus and his ally wanted to take advantage of that. And as you know that on the 13th of this month, the court decided to give the verdict today on the 17th. But Dhaka, Awami League called lockdown in Dhaka. That means close Dhaka. But the whole country was stand still because of Awami League has at least 70 to 80 million voters and supporters. Awami League is the oldest party, most popular party in the country still today. So as you see, they have the more than 100,000 law enforcing authority are on the street, but they still cannot stop Awami League and his supporters from engaging democratic process.
Right. Thank you very much, Professor and Dr. Milad, sharing that. Please stay with us as we have some breaking news that's coming in. Breaking news from Dhaka: 5 charges have been framed against former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The charges are as follows. The first one is that the accused are charged with murder, attempted murder, and torture. The charge sheet states that Hasina has incited armed men associated with the police and the Awami League to attack the civilians, encouraged and failed to prevent the violence. The second one is Hasina has ordered the use of lethal weapons, helicopters and drones to suppress student protesters. The third one is that it relates to the murder of Abu Sayyid, a student at Begum Rokeya University on July 16th of last year. The charge states that Hasina and others ordered, conspired and participated in the murder. The fourth is that 6 unarmed protesters were killed in Chankarpur, Dhaka on August 5th of last year. It also states that the murders occurred due to Hasina's direct orders, incitement, aiding and conspiracy. The fifth charge is that this charge alleges the shooting and killing of 5 protesters and the wounding of 1. It alleges that the bodies of those 5 victims were burned and 1 protester was burned alive. Now we welcome back Professor and Dr. MD Habibi Milad. He's an ex-MP and president of Global Center for Democratic Governance, joins us live from Canada. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, what's your reaction to all these breaking news that has come in with the charges framed, and to what extent might international attention and pressure influence the fairness and transparency and outcome of this trial?
If somebody commits any crime, anybody should be tried transparently and internationally accepted way. We want that. But the way they created the International Crimes Tribunal, and they recruited the people from political, like Attorney General, he will be participating in the national election from Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and he will resign after this verdict. So how do you think they are neutral? And also, as you know, that the verdict is ready for even before the start the trial process. They have decided what they are going to do. So the bottom line is, if it is transparent and international standard, everybody will accept that. But it is motivated. The Bangladeshi people already rejected it, as it's shown in 10th, 11th, and 12th October, and they are showing it yesterday and today. And probably in future they will show it more that they have rejected. They have kept themselves in the house, they didn't go to the office, all the transport was standstill in their bases, so there was not much movement over the last few days in Dhaka. Because of they think that this government ruined the economy, this government ruined the law and order situation, the judicial system they spoiled. Can you imagine in any country that 124 MPs are in the prison for more than 1 year and they're still not getting bail? More than, as I said, that more than 400,000 people are arrested. This number never happened to in Bangladesh in past 54 years of independence. So this trial is not going to accept by the Bangladeshi people. And whatever happened doesn't matter. Bangladeshi people will resist, and they will want a inclusive, free, fair, participatory election, including all parties in the forthcoming election, to get a democratic government. They do not want undemocratic government in Bangladesh anymore. We have suffered due to undemocratic government in the past. We are suffering now. They are just expanding their business and they are expanding their wealth. The people, they are in the power at the moment, but they are not doing anything for the people at the moment. So we want democratic government, and under the democratic government, there will judicial will be comparatively transparent. And at that time, if somebody does any crime, he or she should be punished. There's no doubt about that. But in this kangaroo court, we do not want to run like this. And I urge international community to look into this trial, because we wanted to, they wanted to send international lawyers. They didn't accept that. And Inter-Parliamentary Union published a report a few days ago. 23rd October, they have a governing council meeting. They wrote few times to get visa to see the legal procedure in Bangladesh, especially in the ICT. They were refused or given visa after the date they want, really.
Yes, Professor, building on that, how might this involvement of high-ranking formal officials as defendants or witnesses shape perception of accountability and the balance of power within Bangladesh's political elite?
Can you repeat it, please? I didn't understand.
Yes.
Sound was very slow.
Yes, sorry, if you can hear me again. How could this involvement of high-ranking formal officials, how do you think this will be shaping perceptions of accountability and the balance of power within Bangladesh's political elite? Could you hear me?
Bangladeshi people want, I understand that. I heard you. That,
Okay,
of course, in Bangladeshi law and in international law and human rights law, nobody will be spared if somebody does any crime. And we totally agree with that. No problem at all. But the way they are dealing the cases at the moment, and the fastest way to disqualify this leader from the elections. So this is not the acceptable way. And they want to portray, as you said, media, that media is not publishing everything. What is going on at the moment, media they have taken 188 accreditation cards in few days from the journalists. They are no longer journalists, they lost their profession. They have arrested at least 300 journalists for murder cases. 14 of them are in prison more than a year. And they are threatening the media houses almost every day. Everything is censored, so the world doesn't know anything what's going on inside Bangladesh at the moment. But it's still good that people, news media like you came forward, thank you very much, to let the world know what is going on inside Bangladesh.
And how do these charges against Hasina and her associates reflect broader challenges in balancing state authority, civil liberties, and accountability?
Accountability is for everybody. Is not for anybody like Sheikh Hasina or anybody. Whoever in their position, they should have some accountability definitely, and they should do that. So that's why I'm telling that the way the trial is going on at the moment, they don't have the accountability because the Chief Justice are Jamatis, the prosecutors are Jamatis, the lawyers are Jamatis. How do you expect accountability from
Professor
them?
and Doctor, please stay with us as we have another breaking news on this developing news. More breaking news coming in from Dhaka. In this case, Sheikh Hasina has reacted to the hearing in the 5 charges framed by the special tribunal as the trial continues in Dhaka. Speaking about the charges, the former Bangladesh Prime Minister has stated that all the charges against her are fabricated. Sheikh Hasina was summoned to appear in the front of the tribunal but has refused to do so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. That is a fabricated and false. And the way they present it to the world.
Yes. Please, Doctor, stay with us as we come back to you after taking this breaking one more time. Breaking news from Dhaka that has just come in. 5 charges have been framed against former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The charges are as follows. The accused are charged with murder, attempted murder, and torture. The charge sheet states that Hasina has incited armed men associated with the police and the Awami League to attack the civilians, encouraged and failed to prevent the violence. Hasina has ordered the use of lethal weapons, helicopters, and drones to suppress student protesters. The third charge is that it relates to the murder of Abu Sayyed, a student at Begum Rokeya University, on July 16th of last year. The charge states that Hasina and others ordered, conspired, and participated in the murder. And for the 6th, unarmed protesters were killed in Chankarpur, Dhaka, on August 5th of last year. It also states that the murders occurred due to Hasina's direct orders, incitement, aiding, and conspiracy. Number 5 is that this charge alleges the shooting and killing of 5 protesters and the wounding of 1. It alleges that the bodies of those 5 victims were burned and 1 protester was burned alive. Now we welcome back our guest, Professor and Dr. Muhammad Habib Millat. He's an ex-member of Parliament of Bangladesh, joins us live from Canada. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you could continue your reaction on my previous answer on my previous question, and also if you have any reaction that you would like to share with us on the breaking news.
First of all, we for loss of any life, we really we feel, no life should be, no death. We can accept any death or anything because if it's happened like that. But as you say, Abu Said, I do not know why they changed his post-mortem report few times. I do not know. And also, as you say, the Chankarpul, there are 5 killings. Of course, we're really sorry about that, and we prayed for them. But the Sheikh Hasina left. Sheikh Hasina, the country was out of order on the 5th of August from the morning, and Sheikh Hasina had to leave the country in the afternoon. How she is responsible for those killings? And those killing on the afternoon of the 5th when army took over, how she is responsible for that? But again, Shabar, well, Sheikh Hasina, has she directly ordered? If somebody, I'm telling you, I want justice. I'm telling you, I want transparency. I'm telling you, I did not disagree that didn't happen, but I disagree with that has happened to ensure the verdict goes against Sheikh Hasina and Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal. That's why they make it in a way that all the responsibility goes to Sheikh Hasina alone. But I'm against that. I'm against that, and I deny that. And Sheikh Hasina said that Allah Ta'ala has given the life, he will take it at some point. But I don't care about that verdict. And she said his supporters to continue democratic demonstration against these fabrication allegations, which is against her. And he expressed condolence as well, those who have died. And she also said that those who are involved in that, of course, they should be punished. It's not only that 6 or 7 weeks, it should be in 54 years. Because during Irshad regime, 24 people was killed in Sheikh Hasina's meeting. Another in Khaledia's time in 2004. 24 people are killed with grenade attack. And those accused are now in bail, and their cases has been removed. And also that more than 300 Islamic terrorists have been released from the jail. And during the 5th and 6th August, or after that, more than 500 police station was vandalized, safe power, and looted more than few thousand arms and about more than 500,000 bullets. Where are those? They're now using to destabilize the country. And if Bangladesh is destabilized, then the entire region and neighboring country will be destabilized. So I will urge the international community to look into the matter. And if anybody is really convicted for crime, he or she should be punished, no doubt about that, as I told second time. But they shouldn't do to take the revenge of 1971.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Professor and Dr. Muhammad Habib Millat, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we take another breaking news and come back to you right after. Now, breaking news. Bangladesh Special Tribunal has now convicted ex-Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of crimes against humanity and other counts. The sentence is not yet clear, as the former Prime Minister faces the death penalty, which is the maximum sentence for the crimes she has been accused of. Now, for this discussion, we welcome back Professor Dr. Muhammad Habib Millat. He's an ex-member of Parliament of Bangladesh and current president of Global Center for Democratic Governance, Canada. Thank you very much, Professor, for staying with us. Now, looking at this, you have emphasized throughout our discussion about accountability again and again. how and who should be held accountable in this case, and the failure of how the previous government held or took control of the student protests last year?
First of all, if you say the accountability, the government who is in power, that government they have to have the accountability, no doubt about that. But if the national and international conspiracy, especially when this student movement was associated with the US aid, $29 million, then be spread over a few years to organize this. When the Volker Turk, the commissioner of the Human Rights Commission, called army chief and threatened him to listen, otherwise he will remove the army from the peacekeeping forces. Or when the other 21 million comes through other countries in Bangladesh. Also, Pakistanis, ISI, they were active in the field. Where did they get those arms during 4th, 5th, or 3rd of August? So we need to know about those. So responsibility doesn't go in one part. As you know that yesterday, Dhaka Metropolitan Commissioner asked to fire to the protester. Or a few days ago, Metropolitan Commissioner of the Police of Chittagong ordered to do, he said that brush fire, use SMG, submachine guns to the protesters. So if they want to control the situation with using bullets, lethal weapons, probably same thing has happened during the last year, July, August. And as I said that, those who has given direct order to do that or to have performed that, they probably should bring to justice, because human rights is for everybody. Those who has killed, those who has died, for them, but also for everybody. About more than, I should say, 40 to 45,000 houses was said burned of the Awami League supporters. As I said that the vandalized, the extortion is going on at the moment in Bangladesh. That should be also penalized. But the only thing is they're involved in that and focusing at that is how to get punishment or accusing Sheikh Hasina. That is their main and top Awami League leader. So we want justice for all. Those who have lost their life during July, August, and beyond that, and before that, we want justice for all of them, not only for that 6 weeks.
And building on that, how might Sheikh Hasina's refusal to appear before the International Crimes Tribunal, how do you think this is influencing or going to influence the perception of judicial legitimacy and the rule of law in Bangladesh to further?
First of all, I will give you a few examples what I was given. In one verdict, 84 lawyer has been sent to jail. That not only the lawyers, the journalists, the accused person, you saw that when they go to the court, they are harassed, they are tortured. Justice Manik has to have surgery after harassment in the courthouse. It was a life-threatening situation. The lawyer cannot open their mouth or cannot go to the court because of, if they go to the court, the senior lawyer, he's about 78, 80 years old, Jedai Khan Panna. He was accused of murder case because he was fighting for this accused person. And as I said, press freedom. As I said, another person has got bail day before yesterday, Panna, Manjurul Panna. He is a famous journalist in our country. He was attending a meeting of the freedom fighters. He even didn't say any word. He was there. He was arrested. and he was in prison for 3 months. How people will dare to open their mouth? How do people speak up? That's why they had done in a silent protest on 10th, 11th, and 12th of October, and today and yesterday, and probably they will continue their silent protest, staying home, keeping the road empty, just a non-violent democratic process.
Right, and we now welcome another guest to our discussion, AP Singh. He's an advocate. Thank you very much, AP Singh, for joining us today. Welcome to News 6 World. As we are discussing about the breaking news that is just coming in from Bangladesh and Dhaka regarding the ongoing trial on Sheikh Hasina. Our respectful other guest mentioned the accountability that should be taken, or these individuals who are responsible should be held accountable, but not just Sheikh Hasina herself. What is your take on all of this? Well, we don't have second guest right now, so we will be going back to Professor and Dr. Muhammad Habib Millat. Thank you very much, Doctor, for staying with us. Now, you were mentioning that activists and lawyers are also tortured and jailed. Is this continuing even after the interim government took place?
That's everything happened during these 15 months. I didn't say a single word what happened. I said a few things about that happens before 5th of August or 8th of August, but everything has happened. The world should know that minorities are tortured. More than 4,200 cases has been documented against minorities. 30 minorities have been killed, including 3 indigenous people. LGBTQ, that's about more than 131 documented incidents, including 70 different occasions. Police were killed during this time. 44 police officers killed, 182 missing. And as I said, more than 500 police stations were looted, set fire. There is no, and this government has given indemnity to them. Because whatever they have done from 15th of July to 8th of August, they have given indemnity. Those killed few hundred people cannot even file a case, judicial case against the perpetrators. The persecution is going on at the moment against the Awami League and minorities, even women. Women are tortured. More than 4,000 rape cases was documented last 12 months. The children are in danger. More than 400 rape cases have been documented for the children, and more than 300 were murdered in this time. So it's a total anarchy in the Bangladesh. Please send your reporters to Bangladesh to find out the story. We'll try to help you to get those story out of the Bangladeshi media are at silence. They can't say anything, as I told you before.
Thank you for mentioning that. We don't have any reporter on live in Bangladesh right now, but you also mentioned earlier also you emphasized on the fact that international community should shed light on the situation that's unfolding in Bangladesh and how people are suffering, what people are facing over there. So how should international community balance respect for Bangladesh sovereignty with concerns about potential human rights violation in such high-profile trials like the one taking place today?
As I said, that Dr. Yunus has a huge image worldwide, and he got the Nobel Prize in Peace. But Bangladeshi people has never experienced that what he has done for peace in the country. He has expanded his wealth, that we can tell you, and especially 15 months. If I give you an indication how much he has done so far, is as you saw that he has waived about in Bangladeshi takas, which is 55 million US dollar. He has the fine was imposed on Grameen Kollan, he waived that. He has reduced the government share of Grameen Bank from 25% to 10%, which is about more than 750 million US dollar per year. He has got granted exemption from tax for next 5 years until 2029 for the Grameen Bank. I do not know how 100 million it will be or billion. He has approved a digital wallet for Grameen Telecom, approved manpower license in Bangladesh, university license, and also communicate with the Sterling and a contract with Grameen Bank. And his advisors has the same story in different ways. So I cannot explain all those things at the moment. I think that the international community, especially Interparliamentary Union, Human Rights Watch, and other organizations in the meantime raise their voices. And also I saw yesterday Bob Blackman from British parliamentarian. He said that he said about the minority torture and also participatory inclusive election for democratic governance. So his voices are coming, but it's slow, but it's still coming. And I expect that international community will come and look into Bangladesh's current scenario, and they will give their transparent report on that.
Yes, hopefully that does happen. Thank you very much, Professor and Dr. Muhammad Habib Milad, for sharing that insight throughout this topic. Now we welcome another guest to our panel, AP Singh. He's an advocate. Thank you very much for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Now our respectable guest, Dr. Habibe, was emphasizing about the accountability that should be taken place in Bangladesh regarding what has happened last year with the student protests, as well as what's taking effect now. So how do you think, how should accountability be taken, and who should be held accountable?
Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal, ICT-BD, pronounced this judgment is totally murder of democracy. Sheikh Hasina was elected by way of democratic in Bangladesh. There is no doubt. She worked hard for the progress, for the prosperity, for development, on the point of education, on the point of industry, on the point of social integrity, on the point of internationally to protect democratic value. But Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal, ICT-BD, pronounced this judgment after prosecution has sought the death penalty. Prosecution have filed 5 charge sheets in this case. And the verdict is the murder of democracy and constitution. 3 members of the tribunal will also pronounce the judgment on different bases. So it's a very need to International Court of Justice should intervene in this matter. Sheikh Hasina was a democratic leader. At the time, some organizations who did not want to prosperity of the Bangladesh, they do not want to the sympathetic relation between Bangladesh and India. They do not want to a person which are related to Hindu are residing in Bangladesh. They do not want to prosperity of the industry. They do not want to protection and prosperity of children's, women's, etc. That type of organization which done like this type assassination, which done last time in the Bangladesh, they totally create nuisance in the society. Number of persons killed belong to religion of Hindu. Number of houses, number of women, number of ladies were assaulted, raped, brutally raped in Bangladesh. At the time, each and every media houses was banned, temples were broken, badly damaged, especially. But Sheikh Hasina, during the regime of Sheikh Hasina, like this type of organization could not succeed. Now, very much question arises, how can protect the sovereignty, how can protect the democratic value of the Bangladesh, how can protect the constitution of Bangladesh, how can protect the Hindus which are residing from birth, from since partition in Bangladesh, how can we protect? That's why internationally we should organize, we should work, and Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal, the judgment is totally based on frivolous things, based on false and fabricated, concocted story. Totally false and fabricated charge sheet was filed against Sheikh Hasina. Sheikh Hasina belongs from a great politician family which very work hard for the development of Bangladesh. But nowadays, it is happened very speedy only to damage the all political life of the family of Sheikh Hasina, not only Sheikh Hasina. The Muhammad Yunus regime has meanwhile neighbored security across Dhaka and other areas, and sporadic violence and crude bomb attack ahead of the special tribunal's highly anticipated verdict. Bangladesh has been in political turmoil since the end of Hasina's 15-year iron grip, and Dhaka and violence has made competing for elections expected in February 2026. As per if we seen the reports of the United Nations report is very clearly up to 1,400 people were killed in crackdown as Hasina tried to cling the power, deaths that were central to her trial. It is not good. Sheikh Hasina always very much interested for the development of Bangladesh. She given her full life for the prosperity of Bangladesh. Now, only on the basis of prosecution's charge sheet, the trial has heard months of testimony in absentia alleging she ordered mass killings. How can possible she do? How can possible she done? How can possible she ordered
Mr. Singh,
for mass killing?
yes. Mr. Singh, sorry, we are running out of time for this discussion, but you've shed light on the history and every angle of this. Thank you very much. That was AP Singh. He's an advocate and he joined us live. Thank you very much. That's all we have time for. Keep watching News X World for more news updates from around the world.